And away.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Yes. Because I seem to have plenty of time.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Door on his left.
he entered the door on his left.
Okay, so boardroom.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Do not alter without
hoping he
consulting
might find
whiteboard
an answer
manager.
there.
Tomorrow, complete today's unfinished agenda items. Write next day's agenda. Reflect. Your future was yesterday. Tomorrow is now. Huh? Get Chris out of the broom closet. Hire someone to synergize papers. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper guy. Hire somebody to fire the paper synergy guy. Who moved my desk? Okay. Rate which charts on the same slide depict the same information. Okay. What is hot? Profits, 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 profits. What's the facts? Oh, can't see. Graphs about things and money. We have our new product. Mike James, you are fired. This is ponder. Is the man still in the broom closet?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Is that nuclear string?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
There is
No reason
duct
to
tape
still
and
be here.
nuclear cabling. Why is there nuclear cabling and duct
It
tape?
was baffling that Stanley was still
Nuclear
just
cabling!
in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way.
Can I interact
As
with it?
is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Oh, quiet down, you. I'm leaving.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Did I? Did I? I don't think so. I want to go back to the basement. See what happens down here. No, not much.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken
B4?
that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And
What
as
job
Stanley
does?
pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example,
I know this
why
car.
didn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors
Oh God,
close
my feet.
automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that
I
matter,
assumed I was
these
doing
rooms were
that.
starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
Nah.
At last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't
It's
found
Saturday.
words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream.
If you're dreaming of working on a Saturday,
He felt to have finally
Not
found an
good.
answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he
Okay.
imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
oh goodness, Oh,
Then he
so much
imagined
floating.
himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too
Oh,
was so much
that's
fun.
kind of trippy.
And Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the
I like the
strangest
stars.
question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
I asked
Now
you
the voice
this.
was
Or
describing
me
himself
this.
being
Us
considered by
this?
Stanley, who found
This
it
was something that was questioned
particularly
earlier.
strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
It's not like
Stanley
I'm murdering
is
people.
as awake right now
I can
as
proclaim
he's
that this
ever
is
been
sleep.
in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream.
Bill.
Did the voice not see
Arr.
hello to make the magical stars just a moment ago?
I do with a
How
flashlight.
else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
I'm not even sure why I'm still running around if it's all the same.
And he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Oh, god damn it. Still in the office.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real.
Looks like we're having a whiteout here, Stanley.
Hear my voice. Who am I? Who am I?
Ooh, that's not good.
Black.
Ooh, that's not good.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Huh?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much.
Is this me?
Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane.
Is that Stanley?
I am in control of my
Are we the
life.
dead one?
I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Bet you she stepped over it. Probably robbed it of its money. Ugh. Disgusting. So, seriously? Still? Back to here? Let's give it a go.
All of his
Let's
co-workers
actually try and
had gone.
follow
What
the
did it
instructions.
mean?
See what happens.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, straight down to the meeting room. See about this memo that I may have missed on the left.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Door on his left.
he entered the door on his left.
Now, let's maybe not do the veering
Yet
routes
there was
anymore.
not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Let's go confront the boss. He's probably murdered everyone in the office except me, just for fun. And has decorated his walls and made a couch out of their flesh. Oh look, flesh couches.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Again, from doing it backwards. 2845.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Security camera.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Lift. Let's take the lift down.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years...
Would he not feel a little lack of sanity at this point?
This question would not go unanswered for long.
Is Stanley supposed to remember everything that's happening, or is that just me as the player?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Flight is on, call extension 914 immediately. Mind Control Facility. Interesting, interesting. Tempting, very tempting.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Let's not go this way. I'm getting a little tired of dying.
Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Hello.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
What the spoiler
horrible
room.
secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Seems good. Not getting given out for being here this time. It's good, good, good. Turn the cameras on.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the
How come they're off now? They were on
Stanley's
earlier.
co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced
What's that one
to
say?
images on
It's
the
just red
screen.
text.
And Stanley, one of them,
That one's got the
eternally
same.
monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Freedom meant nothing. That's every workplace.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
They could have just been testing mind control here.
No. He refused
Could be a metaphor.
to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
I'm not sure what any of these buttons do, but I feel very confident in just randomly pushing them. Mind control idle, awaiting input. Should I take over the entire mind control facility? Electric shock risk. Will I get electrocuted? Decisions. Will we turn it on? Yeah.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Maybe.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh,
let's maybe walk away.
I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story
You have 3 attempts remaining.
Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind.
Okay.
What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off.
What code do I need to put in?
Precious moments each
Anything?
one of them is.
Code?
More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're going to die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set
First
you free.
one, what's going on now?
Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story.
Maybe I need a blue button.
Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this,
Red button again.
This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go.
42 seconds.
I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better.
What is this?
My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what?
Done.
To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
Oh,
These
lovely.
are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
Enable backup power to activation.
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
Facility power.
Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away.
I hate you.
You're still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. just you being blown to pieces? Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you
Bring
let it go
it.
peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be.
Why can I hear things exploding this early?
Life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Well, that was... Maybe I should press the proper buttons next time, huh? Oh my, oh my. Lordy, lordy, lordy loo. Back again! Okay, let's try one last run through.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Again.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Man, there's a lot of,
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
this way.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
I know,
Stanley knew
I
it
know.
perfectly well.
Go this way a lot.
Perhaps he wanted to stop
Done
by
everything
the
on this
employee
way,
lounge first,
but I
just to
have
admire
not.
it.
Oh, the
Standing now in this
lounge.
incredible room, Stanley for the first time
Oh
understood
yeah,
true
give me a second of
happiness.
relax,
Then
soak
the
it in.
feeling went away, and he felt sad again. Then it came back, and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there. Just a kind of, tingle.
Different. Different.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
'Cause that's where I went all those other times, to the wife and to the blue and red doors. This
And
way
so he
was
detoured through the maintenance section,
elevator
walked
down.
straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Now into here.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Interesting.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay, let's go visit the boss.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Mr. Boss, I want to talk to you.
Stepping
Hello,
into his
fireplace.
manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
You wait.
That
You
kind
wait
of
your turn.
anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
No. No, I did not. 284. The code is in. Let me through. Ah.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked
Thank you.
forward into the opened passageway.
Faster, faster, faster. Nice. Now, Mr. Narrator,
Stanley
nobody
walked
really
straight
cares
ahead
what you
through
want to
the
say.
large door that read Mind Control Facility.
You know what, let's just have Stanley killed. I want to see what's this way.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I don't believe you. You've not really been truthful about
The
everything.
door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get
Not yet.
back on track. At
Not
this
yet.
point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ah, you're full of it. Okay, that's a bit ominous. Down the hatch. Really? I was kind of hoping to see what would happen. Oh!
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss.
What kind of company keeps this kind of machinery here?
A blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant,
Interesting.
Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Thank you, lady. I guess.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
That's an excellent question. Please tell me I get to meet the narrator now.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?